All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We the real Hebrew Israelites come week in, week out, day in, day out to prophesy the downfall and the destruction of America, which in the Holy Scriptures is known as Babylon the Great. And before we get started, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly called God. Yahweh Shai being the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly called Jesus Christ. Ba'ashem, Ba'ashem, Hadash, Shem, his name. And Rakak Kodash, Rakak being Spirit, Kodash being holy, which is the Holy Spirit that gives us the inspiration to bring out these lessons. Lord willing, this one will be edifying. The title of this one is War, Not Peace, Coming to the Middle East. Okay, and I want to start off by playing this address that you see on the screen, well, on my phone, on my screen. This is Donald Trump's address after they executed as everybody know, the airstrikes or the missile strikes on the three nuclear facilities. One was Fort Dole, the other one was Esfahan, and the other one was there was three of them. Matter of fact, type in what's the three names of them, because they hit three so-called nuclear sites. So I want to start off with this address because through the Spirit, it's a lot that's going on in this video. Even though the address was less than 4 minutes long, you could just see the pride oozing off of these devils. Okay, so I'm gonna play this, and then Lord, we'll get the precepts. Maybe we'll pause it and get precepts, or maybe we'll play it all the way through and then get the precepts. We'll see how the Spirit goes. Get these devils.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes, There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight. Not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So there you have it. And like you said, to me that there's a lot to, as they say, unpack in that video, man.
I got a
All right.
precept.
All right, give me 1 second. You can read it. Matter of fact, you can read the precept.
This is Psalms chapter 12 and
I'll
3.
read just this.
The Lord should cut off all flattering lips and that tongue that speak of proud things. Because those are proud things that you just heard. We know this man does not love the Most High. So that's what you would call flattering words and trying to bring comfort after he just did some wickedness. And that's what the devil do, you see. And so what we're trying to do is just filter the words that was just spoken by the so-called white man and break it down and show you the deceitfulness of his words, and that they're not kind, they're not sincere, and above all, he just shows you how proud he was. That's the bottom line. The Lord say, before pride go destruction.
Matter of fact, get that one. Before what's that? Proverbs 18. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna play the video again, but this time we're gonna stop it and get precepts to show you that with the things that this devil, the stuff that he's saying, most of it is not gonna happen according to the scriptures, man. Okay, basically everything he said is not the complete opposite of what he's saying is what's gonna happen according to the scriptures. Okay, and why is the United States of America, which in prophecy is mystery Babylon the Great, why are they so focused and so concerned and so fearful, if you will, of Iran? Because the prophecies say that Iran, which in the scriptures is called Persia, that was what Iran was called. Matter of fact, if a brother could look that up, when did Iran change its name from Persia? Because Iran was previously known as Persia. Persia is said to play a major role in end time prophecy. Okay, in destroying Babylon the Great. This is why the state of Israel, those small hatters, they so on the defensive when it comes to Iran. Iran cannot get nuclear, they cannot get missiles. No, they cannot. Why? Because the prophecies say that they're going to be one of the nations that the Lord utilizes to destroy Babylon and to destroy that state of Israel. Okay? You found that Proverbs?
Yeah.
Okay, you can read that. I think it's Proverbs 18 and 10.
I got Proverbs 16.
Okay, then maybe that's it.
Wait, I got it.
I got you. This is Proverbs 16, verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So this nation is about to fall because, as they say in the Marines, the few, the proud, the Marines, they have the biggest pride parade in the world over there in the land of Israel, man.
Yeah.
So the Lord is about to destroy these Edomites, and it's true. You are the Edomites, okay? You are the descendants of Esau, okay? Which makes you the wicked, okay? And it said that you speak with a forked tongue. It said, was that Psalms 55?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, kind of read that. Break it down.
It's my Psalms 55 and 21. This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Right, because like you said, 2 days ago, he said that they got 2 weeks to make a deal. He said that if it's not done in 2 weeks or within 2 weeks, he's gonna do something. But then, like the next day or 2 days later, he attacks. So here it is. He would tell you, "Oh, well, we're gonna give you time to come to your senses and this and that." But the whole time he's planning an attack. You see what I'm saying? He got the nerve to turn around and say, "Now it's time for peace." Hold on, nigga, you just dropped bombs on me. You know what I'm saying? You don't go ahead.
Keep in mind, he did run on the fact that he was not going to get involved in any wars.
Right.
He even said, when I get in power, all wars are going to end under me.
Right.
But here it is, this nigga going to war. He initiate World War III.
But why? Because the least of the flock
Yeah,
drew them out.
Yep.
Okay, which the least of the flock represent that state of Israel. It's prophecy that the state of Israel is going to draw Babylon into war. Okay, you can read that again.
This is Psalm chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were salted than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And he even still doing it right now. After the bombing him, he's still saying, may God be with Iran. You know, maybe now it's time for peace. Now, but the whole time, they got a plan B. When they attack us, we already got something ready for them.
Right.
They probably walked away, went right back to the backroom meeting and said, we got to pull out the missiles and get ready, just in case. That's really his whole objective. If they attack us again, we're going to be ready to attack and show the people, like you just said, there was never an army like us. Now, that's a fucking lot. Bombs began to drop for the last 100 years. But in his mind, we the only ones that should have bombs like this. We the only ones with this power. Yet, that's not how it's getting ready to be. Like Yaquan was just saying, according to prophecy, the weak gonna say that they're strong. Meaning they gonna have the artillery to combat this devil. Because let's be real, those are probably not the only sites in Iran with those nuclear capabilities.
Nah, hell no. And they think that they was. You know, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, bro, them probably wasn't even the main places where they developing their missiles, because the prophecies say once again that Iran is gonna play a part, man. So you did not disarm them completely, man, like you think you did. But I'm gonna play this and then we're gonna stop it and get precept. This old ass devil, man, red devil, man. You was called Edom because you love red meat. Your name was called Adawan because you love that red meat so much so that you gave up your birthright for that red meat. You fucking retard.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz.
Right. Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. When did Iran stop calling themselves Persia?
This is 1935. Yep, it said 1935, the Persian government changed the name of the country from Persia to Iran.
Right, and I'm sure they did that from pressure from the elites of Edom. Okay, the elites of Edom forced them to change their name from Persia to Iran. Why? To try to conceal Bible prophecy. Get Isaiah 25:7 real quick, because there are very few biblical, there are very few names in the earth that go back to the scriptures. The Euphrates is another one that goes back to the scriptures. Okay, and it tells you in Revelation 16, we're gonna read that, Lord willing, at some point. Revelation 16, that the Euphrates is gonna be dried up to make way for the kings of the east for World War III, Armageddon. So there's no peace that's gonna come to the Middle East. Okay, we're gonna show you that through Bible prophecy, the geographical location of what the world called the Middle East. There's no peace that's gonna be there until the true Israelites is placed in the land. Okay, until the true Israelites is placed in that land, you're gonna have nothing but war and utter chaos in that region of the earth, man.
I just looked up what she said. It said to avoid confusion between Iran and neighboring Iraq, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill asked Tehran.
Ooh, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill asked what?
Tehran revert to its old name of Persia for what remained of World War II. So we already know the elites, they mainly dwell in Britain. So it show you right there, why did the Britons come over to what was called Persia, modern day Iran, and say, we need you guys to change your name around, so we're getting confused? Why did, because like he was saying, it's really because they wanted to switch the names up to cause a stumbling block. Because who cares what a nigga in British think a country in the Middle East is called? But they play the games behind closed doors. This will help the rest of the world notice you guys, and we can distinct you better.
That's from the that's Revelation 13, where it says the mouth of he had the mouth of a lion. The lion represents Great Britain, which that's mainly where the elites of Edom, that's where they mainly dwell. And like I said, Isaiah 25:7.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 25 and verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
Right. Which that veil and that covering cast is talking about the different names that Esau, the so-called white man, gave these lands and these nations. For example, the so-called Chinese go back to Moab. Okay, they call themselves Chinese. The so-called Japanese, they go back to Ammon, the sons of Ammon. Okay, but now they Japanese, and this was all done to try to take away the validity of the scriptures. Okay, so that when people read it, they say, "Well, I never heard of none of these countries or none of these lands.
These people don't exist anymore.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore. Does this even exist at all?"
And that's why you have what you call white people and black people.
Right.
Okay, this is why wherever they go, they take on the heritage of that people they conquer. You see, because they're vagabonds. You see, they just go around take, and consume, and filter it in as if they're those people, and that's why they're being exposed. The scriptures say, "I have made Esau bare," and everything that they're doing is being called out. That's why everybody is really looking at America and Israel as the enemies of the world now.
Right.
Nobody likes these two niggas, man. Donald Trump and nobody likes them at all. Even in America. Even MAGA. MAGA is turning on Donald Trump. Okay? It's plain and simple. The nigga said he wasn't gonna go to war. He duped you people into vote for him off of peace and safety. And here it is, the scriptures being fulfilled. It should not be no peace and safety.
And Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was
Hey, I never heard of that shit until today. What the
Right.
fuck this nigga talking about?
Me
Everybody heard the old names for years as they built the worst weapon of mass destruction. It's
Right.
the same old lie, man.
That's
It's
the
old
same
fucking lie.
playbook with the Bushes when they went to the Iraqi war.
Yeah.
They said Saddam Hussein had, WMDs. Okay, we know what that stand for, weapons of mass destruction. And then years later, after all that shit was revealed, that he never had that.
Right.
You see?
destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
He said they the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. But that's not what the scriptures say. The scriptures call you the hammer. Get that, the hammer of the earth.
right here.
That's Babylon the Great. That's America. America's the hammer of the earth. America's the #1 state sponsor of terror. Okay? The brother Elder Ma'an always bring it out how long America has been at war since its inception. 93% of the time, man. 93% of the time since 76, even before that, because before that you was at war with yourself. Okay? But since 1776, 93% of the time you've been at war, man. It said he who, get that also Isaiah 13, he who Isaiah 14, he who smite the nations with a continual stroke. You constantly at war, man. You constantly doing midnight hammer missions, operations or whatever.
Operation Midnight Hammer.
Operation Midnight Hammer.
That's what it was called.
Okay, so you the hammer of the earth. You your own tongue condemneth thee and not I. Read that one, that hammer of the earth.
This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?
Right. One of the United States generals, he said we see every problem as a nail. That's what he said. We see every problem as a nail. Meaning what? We gonna hammer it. We're gonna beat it into submission. We're not gonna come lightly. We're not gonna come with peace talks. And if we come with peace talks, just know war is in our heart. The Hebrew word for heart is lav, which means mind. Okay? Go ahead, Al.
It says, Babylon become a desolation among the nations.
Read it again from the top.
Jeremiah 50 and 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?
So the Bible calls you the hammer of the earth. You the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. You know, what is this guy talking about? And see, the world is seeing through your hypocrisy, man. This witchcraft and the shiny suits and the glowing red skin, that shit not working. The slick back hair, that shit not working no more. Niggas is seeing through your shit now. You know, even the average American citizen is like, what are these guys talking about? You know, calling Iran the biggest bully in the Middle East. That's Israel. Israel is the biggest bully in the so-called Middle East, man. They the ones who initiated this whole conflict. Them niggas was minding their business and their little plants or whatever. And who's to say you're the only one that can have nuclear capabilities, man? See, this is why the Lord, because you know, again, going back to the scriptures, you know, the scriptures say he is wiser than Daniel. You know what the Bible prophecies say, man. You know that you're going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles by those kings of the East. So your main focus is to stop the kings of the East from getting those nuclear capabilities, man.
Report to the world.
Yeah, you read that.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 6. He smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hinder him. So, you know, you like the real terrorists of the earth. Really, a continual stroke is, I hit you, I hit you, I hit you.
Like a speed bag.
Yeah, because when we look at the history of America, even if it wasn't a war, they was always on the attack. And they was always, no one's came to America, but America's always come to them. So when the war was over with, they'll say, America lost this one. But you'll look at their homeland, it'll be on fire. They greatest, they downtown, it look like a wasteland. That's that continual stroke. They beat your land and say, you know what, you guys, man, we're going to go on with your resources. You got it. You say you won in the books.
Because ultimately, they have certain agendas. Their agenda might not be to necessarily take over your land, but they want to extract your resources for very little charge, for very little price. They get tired of paying for whatever you got, and they say, well, we're going to figure out a way to get this shit for free, or damn near free. You know, if we got to put our own, assassinate your leader, and put our own leader in there, they got a lot of different covert operations, man. Okay? That's how America operates. They have what's known as economic hitmen, okay? They'll set up people within your government to tank your government, okay?
Capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight,
well, the Lord said you're not going to be able to stop this nuclear threat, man. How you going to stop the nuclear threat when it's Bible prophecy? You want to go ahead and read your precept?
This is Psalms chapter 58:2. It says, yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. And, you know, that's really what this is. This is how these people operate. They operate through violence. He's constantly sitting here saying, peace, peace, peace. You heard him say, God, we love you. Okay, God bless the Middle East. God bless America. These are all like, it's pure bullshit. This is verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And that's how you have to look at these people. Right. Anytime they speak anything, they're fucking lying.
Right. Every time they open their mouth, you
can't. Yeah, every time. You know? They're the best at it too.
Right. Because they do it with a straight face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They do it with a nigga. You kind of see when a nigga lying. Yep. They don't want to look you in the eye. Or
they naturally feel bad about it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
These motherfuckers up here love it. Love it. Fucking liars.
They're well-trained devils, man. That's why I say from the womb, they're estranged from the womb, man.
Yep.
You know? You imagine somebody that's been doing something since birth, they're going to be an expert at that shit, man.
Exactly.
You can read that one.
This is Joel chapter 3, verse 10.
Because he said he's going to stop the nuclear threat coming from Iran.
This is Joel chapter 3, verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears, that the weak say I am strong. You know, those tools, those agricultural tools. And what we're seeing right now is these countries, they're not really looking at agriculture. They're looking into building what? Weapons. Like we just saw, they attacked nuclear facility. It would look like they invested $100 million into, well, we should get our crops together. No, they're investing big money into weapons. That's what all they're doing. And these is, like I was saying, these countries would once upon a time be considered weak. Well, guess what? The playing field is being made even right now.
Right.
Because if Iran get a missile, it don't matter how many soldiers you got, because if they drop that missile, you not gonna have no more.
Right. And see, Iran don't really see. You could do all this Iran shit, but the real enemy, and you know, the real big dog is Russia, and you're not gonna be able to disarm Russia, man. Okay, because that's a Bible prophecy. Once again, I'm gonna read it real quick. Ezekiel 38:1. It says, "And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." And God represent Russia. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws and will bring thee forth." That's why Russia is conquering Ukraine right now, because the Lord has put hooks in their jaws to move westward. It says, "And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet." So Persia is listed as one of the armies that's going to join Russia, going to be allies with Russia to devastate the United States of America. I'm going to jump down to this point. Okay, I'll just keep reading. Verse 6, "Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself," talking about Russia, "thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." So God, Magog, is said to be in prophecy a guard unto Persia, unto Ethiopia, and unto Libya. That's why the first nation to speak up and to condemn what you did was Russia, because they're like Iran's bodyguard, not because they love the Iranians so much, but because they get their energy from Iran. They have economic interest in Iran, just like China. Okay, this is how World War III is going to be started, because all of these nations have different deals with each other, and those deals are so important to them that yes, if you attack them, it's like you attacking us. You know, if you fuck with them, it's like you messing with us. That's the Heavenly Father mustering the host of the battle. And where's the battle going to take place? In the so-called Middle East. Okay, the Valley of Yehoshaphat. Matter of fact, after we play a little bit more, we're going to get that Joel 3, and you start at the top.
Report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs.
Hey, well, the prophecy said that Ishmael would be a wild man, you know, which the word Arab in the Hebrew means a mixture, okay? So you got Ishmaelites over there, you got Persians over there, and the prophecy said that they, if my brother can hold 2nd Ezra 16, it said the Carmanians raised it in wrath.
I'm holding for you right here.
Yeah.
You
Matter of
break it
fact,
down,
we can read it now since you hold it up.
You want to start at 30 or 29?
Just whatever's the point. You know,
Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 30.
See, he's rousing up these Persians, man. You just getting them more angry, man.
Yeah.
You even mentioned in this speech, Soleimani. He was a beloved member of their society, man. You bringing him up, bringing up his death all over again, just inciting that anger all over again, man. You got it out.
It says 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 30. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood,
Right. When you look up the ancient Carmanians, the territory is right there in Iran. Okay. This is talking about the Persians. Okay. Read it one more time.
Second Ezra 15 and 30. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and the great power shall they come and join battle with them.
With Russia, with Libya, with Ethiopia. Go ahead.
And shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
Right. The Assyrians represent America.
That's right.
Okay. Tell you Isaiah 10, oh Assyrian, the rod of my anger. It's talking about America, man. You know, because you thought that you raised yourself up. You thought that you being the axe, you thought that you had all the power, but the Heavenly Father is the one who was the axe. The Heavenly Father is the one that used you, pursuant to Psalm 17 and 13. You were known as the sword of the Most High. Okay? But once a man puts the sword down, it's a powerless weapon. But it takes a man to pick up the sword for that to be a deadly weapon. That's why when Esau, he said, drop the weapon. When Esau run up on you, got some, drop the weapon. That's what he said, drop the weapon. Because as long as you got the weapon in your hand, you could do something with it. You could cause damage. It's dangerous. Once you drop it, it's just an object. That's you, Esau. You just an object. But your pride have deceived you. Read that one real quick in Obadiah. That the pride in thy heart have deceived thee. Because this devil actually think that he invincible, man. Even though the Lord got his prophets, beginning with the elders and apostles, the great millstone, had them out there on the highways and hedges for decades, telling you was going to go down. But you still got this pompous attitude, this bloated pride. You know, there's no military in the world that could have come close to what we did. But hold on, Russia got better missiles than you. They got Satan 1, they got Satan 2. They got a missile called Moab. They got better missiles than you, man. And that's a fact. Even on your own news networks, you report that Russia has better missiles than you. But you still talking all this shit. Y'all got it.
Obadiah chapter 1, verse 3. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down? You devils, y'all forgot where y'all came from, the clefts of the rock, when y'all was grunting around, hair going down to your back. You know, y'all wasn't shit back then. But now that you got your three-piece suit, technology that been raised up, you control the world, so to speak, as of right now. You think that's it. This is my world. Y'all completely forgot about who gave the leverage to get there. So that pride is gonna come back. It is deceiving you because you really believe the things you're saying. He really believed there's no other country that could have blew up 3 stagnant places on the earth.
Right. Like you said, they forgot who put them in that position. You was blessed by our forefather Isaac, who was Yahushua of regeneration. He blessed you with the sword. He allowed you to get in that position. And what do? You turn around, you persecute the real Israelites. You know, you paint yourself as the Israelites. You lie to the world about the Messiah. Just total disrespect for the blessing that allowed you to take the earth, man. That's why the Lord, he created you to be this way. You are the wicked, man. And you cannot do good. It's not in you. It's not in you. It's the only thing that's in you is to lie, to kill, steal. Matter of fact, get that in St. John. That's what our Lord said. He said, the devil cometh not but for to kill, steal, and to destroy, man. So we don't believe you, you know? Let me know when you're
This specialty, we lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani.
He does that, you know, because he's proud,
right,
that he took that dude out, but that just shows that he's a fucking murderer.
Right.
At the end of the day, I got a quick one after you get done with yours.
This is John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy.
Right. Even when you deal, let's deal with your own history. It said that your bones is full of the sin of thy youth, man. How did you establish this country, man? You know, let's deal with it. Let's deal with America, the great fucking America that you say you're gonna make great again. How was it? How did it become great? Through slavery, through rape, through genocide, okay, bloodshed, pillaging. Woe unto thee that built a town with blood and established a city by iniquity, man. That's how you got to this point, man. You know. So read that again. Huh?
John chapter 10, verse 10.
You a thief.
The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy.
Man, wherever this devil go, if that's why, like over there in them Hamitic countries, when them tribes that it be their first time seeing a white man, they be looking terrified because they know the history. They heard the stories of you, man. Wherever you go, you about to get colonized. Or your ass is about to get oppressed to the point where they're gonna make you take off your whatever garments you be wearing. They're gonna make you put on pants and a t-shirt. You see what I'm saying? That they heard the stories about the legends about the white man, the pale man. They see a white man for the first time, they fucking terrified, man. You know? Cause you don't come but for to steal, kill, and destroy, man. That's why that one island, it's an island off of the coast of Indonesia, one of them, it's called what's the name of that island? Not the Cayman Islands. It's a small island, but basically the people that live there, they're uncivilized. They've been without civilization since 6,000 years ago or whatever. So one Edomite missionary, Jesus freak, tried to go out there and like usually they shoot arrows at the nigga while they on their boat. But they allow him to get to the shore, and that nigga was never to be seen again, man. They killed him, probably ate his ass.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? See, some people don't want your white Jesus, man. You know, y'all got it, man. It's like
This is Psalms chapter 16 and verse 5 in the Amplified version. Everyone who is proud and arrogant in heart is disgusting and exceedingly offensive to the Lord. Be assured he will not go unpunished. So the Lord think you're disgusting and offensive because you're proud. Why? Because that's who you are. You're a proud man. And all you do is get on TV and talk about how much more murder you're going to do, but you disguise it as we're bringing peace. We're bringing change. We're going to make Iran great again. MAGA. Okay? Some fucking bullshit.
Hey, well, Iran gonna be greater than Babylon in the kingdom, man. Well, the land that's known as Iran is gonna be greater than Babylon. That's for damn sure. Cause Babylon gonna be wiped off the face of the earth, man.
Yep.
Okay, Iran's still gonna be there, but it's gonna be ruled and dominated by the Israelites.
I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly,
Now he said him and Benjamin Netanyahu worked as a team like no other team, right? Because once again, this dude is a puppet for the Elisa Edom, man. Okay? America is the lapdog for the state of Israel. And people are starting to realize that. Let's read Jeremiah 49 and 20.
I got you.
Jeremiah 49 and 20.
This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20.
This is because people you go to the comment section, they're like, why does America do whatever Israel wants? Why do we always have to back Israel? This is what the American citizens is asking in the comment section. Well, here's the precedent why.
It says, Jeremiah 49 and 20, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord, that he has taken against Edom and his purposes, that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them.
So that was the counsel against Edom. Notice it said Edom. Now go to the next chapter and read the 45th verse. Because I'm gonna show you that the Lord equates Edom with Babylon. Because the nation of Edom is the ones that's in control and spirit and ruling Babylon, mystery Babylon.
Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes, that he have proposed against the land of Chaldees.
So before it said his counsel
Right.
that he taken against Edom, but here it says the counsel that he have against Babylon, because Edom is ruling Babylon. Go ahead.
It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out.
Right.
Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them.
The least of the flock, once again, is referring to the state of Israel. It's prophecy that Israel is going to draw out Babylon into the Third World War, man. That's why America got to do whatever Israel wants, because America is the only nation that has the firepower to defend Israel, man. Israel don't have the power to defend itself with all their lies and all they imposture that they doing over there and all the wickedness that they're doing over there. Even the Israelites, even the Israelites, they don't get down like that. They don't get down with that Moshe, you know, that you Israelis is doing over there. A lot of all the nations that surrounding you small hats, they're not with the wickedness that y'all be doing, man. They're more righteous than you. You know? They're more righteous than you. Your ass, they wicked, but they more righteous than you. They ain't popping each other in the ass. They ain't having pride parades, and they ain't pretending to be the Israelites like you. So the Lord said the least of the flock is going to draw them out, and he going to make Babylon desolate with the land of Israel, man. Okay? So that's why it ain't going to be no peace in the Middle East. Okay? Because the Lord is going to gather these nations to the valley of Yahweh.
Congratulate the
This is Psalms chapter 37 and 20. But the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be made as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into smoke, shall they consume away. Like the brother just said, this land, America, aka Babylon, is going to be utterly destroyed. And when the war, you go into that word consume, that means to be liquidated. That means to be set on fire and melted. And the only thing they can do that is a thermonuclear missile, the ICBM missiles. No, go ahead.
What's
That was Psalms 37 and 20. Yep, you got it.
American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left.
So he said there will be peace or there will be many more tragedies. Well, you're right about that. There's going to be a whole lot more tragedies because it's not going to be peace, man. Okay? There's no peace that's coming to the Middle East. All right? Matter of fact, let's read it, Joel 3. Joel 3. And then, Maya, I don't know if you could hold 1 Thessalonians 5.
From the top.
Yeah, kind of. You can bring it from the top.
Joel chapter 3, verse 1.
And he also said there's many targets left. See, what you're not considering is that you got a lot of targets out there, too. There's a lot of American soldiers out there over there in the so-called Middle East right now, sitting ducks. Okay? And one of the Iranian generals or prime minister, one of their peoples, they said that you just doubled the vulnerability of your soldiers that are out there. That's the statement that they put out. They said you doubled the vulnerability of the American soldiers that's already out there. How you think them soldiers feel that's already out there in the Middle East when you're doing this? See, you only think about yourself because you're not a real warrior. You gave props to the American warriors that carried out the mission, but you American Caesars, you American presidents, y'all not real kings, man. Y'all not real warriors because y'all don't actually go into battle. That's why you don't weigh the battle properly. okay? Because you ain't gotta go fight. So you don't think, well, do I got 10,000 to go against this 20,000, or do I got 5,000 to go enough to go against this 10,000? You don't care because you're not actually out there on the battlefield. You're just a bunch of cowards. But see, you cowards, you people at the top of the food chain, so to speak, you're gonna be the first ones that go into slavery. You're gonna be the very first ones. You got it. Right?
This is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel.
Right. You say, read that one again.
Joel chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right. Where's the geographical location of the valley of Jehoshaphat? Jehoshaphat meaning Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment. The so-called Middle East, okay, the Levant, okay. That's where the Lord is gathering all these nations for World War III. Excuse me. All right.
And will plead with them.
The word plead there, when you go to the Hebrew, the word is shaphat, which means to judge. That's where the Heavenly Father is going to judge the nations. Okay, that's where 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter is going to take place, where he said that out of his mouth was a blast of fire and lightning, and all that was to perceive that was left was dust and smell of smoke. Every soldier that's over there got what you call it, disintegrated, eviscerated. Okay, that's all gonna take place in the so-called Middle East, man. There's no peace that's gonna come here until, like I said, after the Israelites, true Israelites, which is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they elected them, is placed back in the land. Got it, right?
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
So you scattered the true Israelites among the nations through the transatlantic slave trade, the sub-Saharan slave trade, the Silk Road slave trade, and then you divided the Lord's land up amongst you devils and amongst you heathen. Okay? So this is what the Lord is doing to pay you back for that. Jump down, we'll just get to the point. Jump down well, that's really what I wanted. Read 2 again.
This is Joel chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right. It tells you, Zechariah says, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble upon them all my fierce anger. It say, for all the earth shall be devoured in the fire of the Lord's jealousy. So the Lord, this devil telling you you're going to bring peace to the Middle East, and God bless Iran, and God bless the Middle East, and all this extra shit. But that's not what the Bible say, man. You know, you a false prophet. You know, you prophesying of things that's not going to come to pass. It said when a prophet prophesied of peace, if the peace don't come, that's how you know he was a false prophet.
That's right.
And will plead with them.
He will judge them
There for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Right. In the book of Isaiah, it tell you that all this is being done for the controversy of Zion, man. See, this is why there's not going to be no peace in the Middle East, because it's the controversy of Zion. One of the former presidents of Egypt, he said that the Jews left black and came back white. Okay, that's on the record. That's in the history books. He said that. He said the reason why there's no peace in the Middle East is because the Jews left black and came back white, man. Okay, so what did he mean by that? The people that's there is not the true people. Even Yahushua, he said that Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, man. Okay, so the only people that's in the land is the heathen.
Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can.
So he said they keep using that word peace, man. That's a buzzword for people who know the scriptures, man. Okay, when you hear these different world leaders say peace, that shit, your antenna should go up, you know, because the scriptures. You got that 1 Thessalonians. Yeah, you can read it down.
want to start at 2?
Start at the top.
This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. But of the times and of the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
Right. Why is this gonna come as a thief in the night to these people? Because they're not watching. Okay, they're not watching like we are. We're the watchmen. Okay, we have a higher vantage point. We have a higher spiritual perspective. Okay, of the things that's going on in the earth. Okay, so we're not gonna be caught off guard. Apostle Paul's gonna go on and say that we're not gonna be caught off guard. But he said that the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night to these people. Because even when all that was taking place yesterday, what did Jake do last night? Went out partying, clubbing. It was 92 degrees outside. Jake was in mini skirts and doing whatever niggas do, man. Twerking on the headlights at the red light. That's what niggas is still doing when all of this is going on. So when it really gets cracking, which is already cracking, but when it really get popping over here in America, niggas is gonna be caught off guard. Niggas gonna have a bottle in their hand, a blunt in their hand. Niggas gonna be at the club, at the bar, out to eat, and missiles is gonna start hitting, or a T attack is gonna take place. A mass casualty event.
Or like those Iranians, they already see it. We just gonna wake up our sleeper cells,
right?
America.
There you go.
Because at the end of the day, though, that's why Ishmael's a wild man. Because he'll walk into a motherfucking kiddie baseball gathering, all right, and blow himself up and everybody.
Right.
He'll walk into a motherfucking restaurant, okay, when you niggas out kicking it late night, lighting up your blunts, going to get some garbage and shit, all drunk and high. Ishmael gonna walk up in there. He just might let it go down like that.
Well,
okay.
Joe Biden let all those people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you go to Second Ezra, I think it's Second Ezra. You talk about the dragons of Arabia. And this is what we're witnessing right now because they're literally being woken up. As you see, like he said, they're gonna up them sleeper cells, meaning they got people already over here.
Right.
Or they got people close enough to where they can do some damage.
Right. And that's the curse of you heaping unto yourself all nations, and gathering unto yourself all people. So you were so thirsty for world domination that you let every nation in. You were so thirsty to assimilate everybody to your way that you really thought you could assimilate everybody. But some people you can't convert, man. That's where the term sleeper cell come from. Okay? Meaning right now they're asleep, but once they awaken, once they're activated, they're gonna act on behalf of their nation, which is your enemy. Okay? And your pride has blinded you to see all of these different scenarios that can take place. And really the elites they know. But you low level leaders, you just that. You're a low level leader, man.
Taken out in a matter of minutes.
Oh, continue that First Thessalonians 5.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 3.
Read 2 again.
Verse 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Right. So, like I said, that word peace, that's like a buzzword because the Lord said when they shall say peace and safety, then it's just going to continue to escalate. You see what I'm saying? Then the sudden destruction is going to come. Okay? He put out the tweet. He said, at the end of the tweet, he said, now is the time for peace. After he just got finished talking about how he blew up their facilities, you don't think it was people working in the facilities that night? Them niggas is dead. And now you talking about now is the time for peace, man. You devils is retarded. You devils is just, like, your wickedness is beyond comprehension. Like, honestly. You see what I'm saying? Because, once again, Iran, they the ones who threw the first punch. And then you telling them, I just beat your ass, but you can't get your lick back. You know what I'm saying? I just jumped you. I just jade you. Me and my niggas just jade you. But when you see me in the street, you can't beat me up. You know what I'm saying? This is the pride of you devils, man. This is the hypocrisy of you, man. Okay? This is why the Lord said he created the smith that blew up the coal in the fire. And he have created the waster that shall destroy. It said that the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. And as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will, man. That the Heavenly Father, get that in Jeremiah, it said he had laid a snare for Babylon, and I was not aware. I think it's Jeremiah 50 and 24. See, the Lord got you in a trick bag, and you don't even know it. You see, I think it's 50 and 24. Yeah, that's it. I got you.
Jeremiah chapter 50.
Start at 23 again, because that's what we was reading earlier.
Yep.
Matter of fact,
That
start
started
at
at 22.
the water.
Yep. Jeremiah 50 and 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction.
Right. Yahushua said we're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. You got it.
How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware.
Right. It's like if you're walking in the forest and you don't know it's a bear trap coming up, you know, and you think you're good because you got your bug out bag, you got your guns, you got armor, you got your sleeping bag that can go to negative 30 degrees. You good. You out, you in the wilderness, but it's like you comfortable because you got everything you need. But you don't know that the Lord got a snare for you, a trap, a bear trap that you about to get your foot caught in, man. Okay? Read that again.
It says, I have, Jeremiah 50:24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found, and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord.
Right. You trying to fight the prophecies, man. You trying to maintain peace in a land that the Heavenly Father said there was going to be no peace. That's the very place that the Lord said He's preparing Armageddon, the third world's war. Keep going though.
It says, verse 25, the Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation.
See, that's what you don't get. These missiles, the what do you call it? The uranium enrichment programs. That's the Lord's uranium enrichment programs, man.
That's
You're not going to be able to stop these things, okay? And that's really what the prophets have been telling you. That's what the prophets been telling even our own people going back. Jeremiah 28, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries, great kingdoms of war, of evil, and of pestilence. And the whole time the prophets was prophesying of things, they was telling our people, it was telling the heathen or whatever king in particular, you're not going to be able to stop it. You're not going to be able to stop it. It's the will of the Heavenly Father, man.
Says
Okay.
it right here.
Come.
It says, for this is the work of the Lord Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. It says, verse 26, come against her from the uttermost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left.
And see that, and that's how the Lord's going. That's the end of America, man. But see what the Lord's going to do. He's going to turn your allies against you. He gonna activate that snare. He's gonna activate that trap. Okay, which is something that you're not prepared for. Okay, you're not prepared for all of your plans failing. That's why what they just did, they added the CEOs of those AI companies. 3 CEOs of AI companies you added to the military. Why did you do that? You think we don't know why you did that? Because you hoping that this AI technology could give you some type of military strategy to be able to win these wars or prevent World War III. AI can't help you, man. An artificial demon cannot help you, my dude. Are you retarded? You don't understand that all these things come from the earth that Yahweh Shemir Shah made, man. You don't understand that the Lord got angels, okay, that's controlling everything, man. The only thing that's stopping World War III from happening right now is the angels holding back that destruction in pursuant to Revelation the 7th chapter. You got the angels holding back the destruction until the appointed time. But we're gonna get you got a precept?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, can you get Revelation 16, we're gonna get some close.
This is Psalms chapter 37 and verse 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation.
Yeah, that's talking about how you gonna persecute the prophets. Okay, we the ones we speak an upright conversation, and what you're doing is you drawing up your legislation to try to put us in prison or behead us. Okay, you making That's the read it again. That's the swords.
Yep. It says Psalms 37:14. The wicked have drawn out the sword.
Right. One of your swords is your pen. That's one of your swords, your pen. Go ahead.
And bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation.
Right, because we the biggest threat to your new world order, your NWO.
It says, their sword, verse 15, their sword shall enter their own heart, and their bows shall be broken.
Right, there you go. So the Heavenly Father gonna have divine intervention. Everything that your persecution, he said, Lord said, touch not mine anointing and do my holy prophets no harm, man. You're not gonna be able to eliminate the prophets. You're gonna have a few martyrs, you're gonna have the chosen martyrs, but other than that, the prophet's gonna prevail over you, man. You know, your bullets, your guns, you mortals and your guns, it's not gonna matter, man. Okay, your missiles, none of that. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Haven't you? It's like you devils. You play multiple choice with the scriptures, man. You know, you read certain scriptures and you cool with that, or you take that, but then other scriptures you act like it's not even there, man. You see, and that's what the whole world. That's what our people do that too. You so-called Christians, you so-called Catholics. It's like some scriptures are not even there. You play multiple choice with the scriptures. We the only ones that ate the whole roll, swallowed it. And it was sweet in our mouth, but it was bitter in our belly. But we still gave it to the world, man.
That's
okay,
right.
We still believed it. We still, we hold fast to these. We hold fast to that which thou hast until the Lord come. We can read that and then we'll be out.
Revelations.
Yeah, I think it's Revelation 16 and 12.
The 6 angels poured out.
Come.
This is Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon a great river Euphrates.
Right. Because the Euphrates, that's like I said, that's one of the rivers, that's one of the geographical locations that's still the same to this day. And that goes all the way back to Genesis, the second chapter, 4 rivers. That Euphrates was one of those rivers in the Garden of Eden. Okay? See, we could go on and on all day, man. Okay, but you the same serpent in the garden, okay, that caused all that chaos and all that death to the Adamites, man. You the same serpent. So yeah, the Lord gonna drag you back into the garden for World War III, Armageddon. Go ahead though.
And the water thereof was dried up.
Right, the Euphrates is drying up, as people know, okay? But that's for a particular purpose. Okay? Go ahead.
That the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Right, so that the Lord could bring those armies down into the valley of Yahushua. That's why these things are happening. That place is a war zone, okay? That's a future war zone for Armageddon. Matter of fact, you can jump down to Armageddon. I think it's verse 16.
Yeah. Revelation 16 and 16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon, which is Harmageddon, meaning mountain of troops.
That was it?
You know,
Read it one more time.
Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. And he gathered them together.
Them is the armies, okay? The different armies of the earth, like we read in Joel, the 3rd chapter. The valley of Yahushua. That's the place that it's talking about. Go ahead.
And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Right. So that's what people call the Third World War, Armageddon. You know, that's what's about to take place in the Middle East. There ain't gonna be no peace out there, man. So if you believe I don't think anybody still believe what a nigga in the suit got to say. Okay.
Right.
But if you still do, then that's on your dumb ass. Okay. You one of the ones that it say the rest were blinded. You know, talk about the ones whose names was not written in the book of life. Talks about the ones who will worship the image of the beast. Okay. This is all, and this has a lot of ramifications. We could have went into how the ramifications of that attack and what is it going to cause, because Iran has retaliated by closing the Strait of Hormuz, okay, which is going to jack up oil prices, okay, which ultimately, and also the sleeper cells being activated, okay. So Jacob's trouble is right around the corner, man.
Yep.
Which means that our deliverance is also right around the corner, but we gotta hold fast to this truth, man. Yahweh Shem Shai, the names Yahweh Shem Shai, man. You know. So hey, with that, I think we said enough. Lord will just edify. We're gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakam
for giving us the spirit to do this lesson. And double honor to the apostles, the elders, great millstone once again. Kwame Yashua Shalom.
Kwame Yashua.
Wow. Oh.